It wasn't too long ago that Charles Johnson knocked out Loner Kavanaugh in a wild 3-1 underdog spot. Right after that win, Charles Johnson's manager told us all that he was negative in his bank account balance. He had no money, and in fact, he owed the bank money. So to get that win and get that win bonus was tremendous. The question is, how was he negative? And I'm not digging into his personal finances. I'm talking more about the fact that he is one of the most active fighters on the UFC's roster. He's been extremely busy. He's had some very high-level opponents. And this is a guy that should be able to, as a professional athlete in the highest level outlet of his sport, not be negative in his bank account. So the question is, what should the UFC pay structure be? Do they pay enough? Let's go ahead and break that down. My name is Angelo. This is Josh Thompson. You got paid by the UFC. Did you think it was enough?
I think as a fighter, it's never enough. You always want more. You always want more. But I also missed that I came towards the end and in the beginning of the social media platforms kind of blowing up. Like I was just having this conversation yesterday with Podcast Dave from the Weighing In podcast. And I just simply said, he even brought it up to me. He goes, hey, you just missed it. Like social media wasn't that big when I fought Nate Diaz in 2013. It was growing, it was getting there, but it wasn't the level it was in 2019, 2018, 2020, COVID, all that stuff. People blew up on social media during COVID because they had nothing else to do but fucking marry their phone. And so when it came down to, I just missed the bandwagon in that situation. In terms of the fighters and the fighters' pay and all this, I mean, I would have done things differently. You know, I got paid pretty damn well. I mean, when the UFC had bought Strikeforce, I was making more than everyone but the champion with my contract. I already knew
everybody in Strikeforce.
I was making more than everyone in the UFC except for the UFC champion. Except for the UFC champion. So when I came over, they were like, hey, they wanted to try to restructure. They actually restructured my contract in a positive way. But it was still, but they wanted to lock me in for four fights under their deal. They were asking for 6. I said 4, let's do 4. Cause I plan on trying to fight for the title. I want to be able to renegotiate right before the title. And it kind of left us in that position, especially when it came to the Nate Diaz fight being staged. I knew that if I beat Nate, Sky was London. I remember like the way it was being staged.
I was like, wait a minute. No. We're changing the topic of this bad takes. The UFC is scripted.
It was, he just came off the loss to Benson. I just came off the loss to Gilbert for the titles. And then if I beat him, I knew I'd probably get a title shot.
I got you.
Yeah. So it was the way that they set the stage for me coming into the UFC.
There it is.
There you go. Do I think that the fighters, of course, they need to get paid more. I think every fighter should get paid more. But I don't own the organization. I don't run the promotion. That being said, Charles Johnson, like you said, is one of the most active fighters in the UFC. What's his 5th fight coming up this year?
I think it's 5 or 6 fights in 12 months.
Yes. So 5 or 6
that's a shit ton. The average fighter is 3.
And for him to have negative money in his account, let me just tell you this. You are horrible at managing your accounts. You're horrible at managing your money. That's it. I got to be honest. Guys that are in the top 15 are making, like in the top probably like 10 to 15 are probably making what I was making when I left. Somewhere around there. Those guys in those top 5, top 10.
You're choking on your words because that's a horrific take is what's happening.
No. What do you mean?
You're bad with your money and then you start choking to death. That is an outer being like, this is such a bad take. Shove something down that idiot's throat and shut him up.
Oh, Jesus,
that's what just happened.
He's bad with his money. I'm making what the guys are probably making in the end of the top 15. And those guys can't live off that money. I've been doing okay for the last probably, I don't know, 7 years I've been retired, whatever it is. Like it comes quick. You're gonna have to make sure that you have a substantial amount of money, to go ahead and move on. And if you can't manage your money while you're still getting paid, you have to work something out. You have to figure it out, man.
Let's pivot a little bit from the his specific circumstances and more to just the UFC's pay structure. So for those of you who don't know, almost everybody gets half their money to walk into the octagon and the other half if they win. If they don't win, they obviously don't get that other half. If it's a draw, they don't get the other half. If there is a win bonus, we now know there's the $50,000 win bonuses we all know about. So there are opportunities inside the UFC to make some more money, but for the most part, the structure is half when you show up, half if you win. If we look at that structure, it's obviously they're designed to encourage people to win. If I go out here and I put my ass on the line and blah 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 and I win, I'll get double the money. I don't really think that's happening in execution. I think everybody is trying to win their fight no matter what. Like, I don't think they're trying extra hard because they need the other half. I think they're trying to win no matter what. Same with the win bonuses or the performance bonuses. People are trying to win by knockout, trying to win by submission. I don't think people are specifically chasing a finish for that bonus. So I understand why they're there, and it makes perfect sense to me. You do want to encourage it at some level. But I think at this point, with the UFC's popularity and obviously the amount of money that they're going to make with the Paramount deal and that they make now, I'm wondering if we need to change up how it's done. Whether it's meaning the show win model of showing up and then winning, or maybe we move fighters to salary with bonuses like incentives. Like what if we move fighters, we ranked every fighter and you got paid based off of your ranking, or you get paid per fight. Something like, here's your base pay. If you fight, there's a little more. Like, I feel like the structure of show up, you get half. If you win, you get another half. I think we've outgrown that. And I think it's tough for fighters to budget because it's easy to say budget. And Charles Johnson specifically, wildly active. But let's look at what happened to Nursultan Ruzaboyev. That dude, and the UFC, I'm sure, paid him. They took care of him behind the scenes. But according to the contract, they don't necessarily owe him a thing.
No, they don't.
That dude could have cut the weight, showed up, done all the things. He doesn't even get the half of his money for showing up, even though he showed up. Technically, your show money's not owed unless you walk into the cage. So it's like, I'm sure they took care of him, but I'm wondering if the model is wrong. Would you change the model, or you're all for the win show?
I'm for the win. I actually am for the win show, even though a lot of my contracts were just flat fees. But there was a finishing bonus attached to it, another $50,000 or $100,000.
So you never got that shit, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I just love throwing the old man digs in there.
That's not an old man dig. That's an actual dig at my performances.
Yeah, but you're old now. But you're old now, so you forgot what's happened back then. So I could just say shit, and you can't defend yourself.
This is so weird. A guy shaped like a pear talking shit to me, or a professional athlete. It's so strange to me. Okay, so strange. Tall ass pear. But I love it. Tall ass man. Tall ass pear is what it is. I think that I'm not opposed to a higher show money of saying, like I said, 70-30. Somewhere in that structure should be good. Give them a 30 bonus for the win. And then if you get a finish, and you said something.
Any finish, not performance of the
win.
Any
finish. And if you get, I think also to what you said was not, some parts were not true. Fighters will attack aggressively when it comes to getting that finish. Now, maybe not for the performance of the night bonuses, but if I know if I get a finish bonus, if I know it's attached to my contract is guaranteed money, then I'm going to go for it. And sometimes you lose that position, sometimes you get the finish. And so what that does, that creates more action. In the performance of the night bonus, though, that's different. You have to be selected to get.
That's subjective, sure.
Yes.
Wait, so let me back up. If you're in a position, you're in a position where you can ride it out, win the round, win the fight, or you can, try to throw in a risky submission, maybe lose your position. Your brain,
it's not risky submission. If I'm on your back, there's no risk there. If I'm in full mount and I can actually hit an armbar from that position, or I can hit some sort of key lock, I can hit some sort of Kimura in a 3/4 mount, or
you could chase an armbar from mount and then lose it and end up on your back and give up the round.
My point is, though, is that, look, for me, my contract, it was cooked in that I got a $50,000 or $100,000 bonus if I hit the submission. Or it's not submission, but if I got a finish.
Yeah, finished, yeah.
So why would I not try it? I knew I was going to get it if I finished. In these performance bonuses, you don't know if you're going to get it. That's where the problem lies, is that you don't know who Dana's going to favor that night. You know how many times I saw some great knockout finishes and some great submission finishes, and then they gave it to a guy on the main card.
Who's never gotten a finish bonus?
Who?
Terrence McKinney. 100% of his wins are by finish. He has never gotten a finish bonus.
And that's what's wild to me. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that guy's on the undercard, or he's on the first fight on the main card, or whatever it is. He's not the top guys. You know how many times I saw fights that the main event guy got the fucking performance
Yeah,
of the
he
night.
already made $2 million, and then they gave him
I'm
50
like,
grand.
why the fuck are you giving that guy 50 to 100 grand when the dude on the fucking bottom of the card basically trying to pay his rent, it doesn't get it. And I know you sometimes, majority of the guys will get like little, not backroom bonuses, but mailed bonuses for an extra 5 grand or 10 grand, 15, whatever. I mean, I showed up at home several times, had extra 25 grand sent to me or an extra 50 grand sent to me. You know what I mean? Even in my last fight with Tony Ferguson, they sent me an extra 3 or 5 grand. I can't remember. I think it was 3 grand, 3 or 5.
Just
Somewhere
like,
in
hey,
there.
thanks.
He said, hey, thanks, man. They knew that we were gonna part ways because I was already like, hey, this is not
52.
I need more money, you know? And they were like, no. Like they wanted to keep me. And it wasn't that they were underpaying me. They wanted to split me in half. They wanted to cut my pay like a bonus, like how it was the 50-50.
Win show.
I was like, nah,
yeah, or show
I know I can go. Yeah, they wanted to say, hey, we'll pay you $250,000, but we're going to give you 125, like basically like in half. So instead of paying, it'd be 125, or 150, 150. So they actually, the caveat was like, I was going to make a little bit more than what I would have, but it was a 50-50. And I was like, nah, I can go somewhere else and get a flat fee of more money and plus a signing bonus. So I just captivated on that. I'm like, all right, I captured that moment. Anyways, all of this being said, like this was, I like the idea of guaranteeing them a certain amount of money and giving them a bonus on top of that for finishing, because I would be more inclined to chase it knowing that I have control over whether I get the bonus or not. And if it's a tough fight where like, look, if it's 1-1 and I'm winning this round, but there's still 2 minutes left, I'm not chasing that submission right then.
Yeah.
But if there's a minute 20 left and I'm on top and I've won the first, 3.5 minutes or whatever it is, I'm going to go ahead and chase that. I'm going to chase that. I got a minute 20. I can survive a minute 20. I'm going to chase that submission. I'm going to work hard to try to get it. I'm going to try to get that finish. That's when things happen, when fights become entertaining, when it's 1-1. If I slide off on the armbar, he gets out and gets on top. That creates action. That works for the promotion as well as the fighter, because they get bonused up if they finish, and the promotion gets action if I miss it and the other guy comes on top and starts dominating. Like, it's a win-win, I think, for both sides. It's the unknown of whether you're going to get the bonus or not from the UFC. That's what's scary.
It is tricky. Where I was going before, I was asking, like, you would generally, it is in your mind, you are thinking about that guaranteed finish bonus.
When I have control of it, yes, but not in the UFC. I'm like,
yeah, correct. Yeah.
You have to pick me. And there's only 3. There's fucking 14 fights on a card.
Yeah,
like,
it could be.
You don't know what they're going to, like, honestly, the head kick knockout from Dana, I didn't think I was going to get it. There was 2 other big knockouts on that card. And I was like, yeah, I'm probably not getting this shit. Yeah. I was like, even though it was, Nate Diaz and me, I was like, yeah, I didn't think I was going to get it. And then I got it. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I thought it was awesome. And then I even got more money sent to me and mailed it to the house, which was nice.
So it sounds like there is some generosity behind the scenes that maybe isn't as public as the normal numbers. But I do want to go back to I understand what you're saying, change the split, and you do want to encourage, just like any other job. If you're in sales, you get commission because you want to encourage certain behavior. You want to encourage people to sell, right? If you're in a job where retention matters, maybe you get a bonus based off of how many clients you keep. Like, I understand wanting to encourage certain behaviors. So bonuses for finishes absolutely can do that. I do think, though, at this point, this sport has evolved. It is a very real sport now. They're signing their second monster contract. It's the only sport that operates the way that they operate. And it is different. These fighters are independent contractors. They can come and go. They can be cut immediately. They get scooped up whenever. So it is different than football, basketball, all those other sports. But I am wondering if there should be some base salary, like, hey, welcome to the UFC. Every deal is a 1-year deal with X number of fights. And for your first, $50,000 base, I'm just making up a number, $50,000 base salary. When you actually fight, this is what you get paid, right? A win bonus, a show bonus, whatever it is. Because I do think there should be some expectation that when you make it to the UFC and you are in the premier organization in your sport as a professional athlete, there is some expectation I can feed my family. Hey, we can all eat now. We can all eat. And I don't have to fight 9 times in a year to do that.
Well, you may have 12 kids, though. You never know.
You could have 12 kids. You could buy a car that you shouldn't have bought. Like there's a million things you could do to fuck with the money, but there should be some level of expectation that I'm getting this money. Every other job on this planet, you get the job, unless you're a 100% commission-based salesperson, you get the job and you get a salary. There's incentives on the salary, things like that. So maybe the salary is just small. Maybe it's a very small salary. Like, hello, welcome to the UFC.
Making?
I don't know. Half of
I'd be willing to bet he's making 40 and 40 or 60 and 60, somewhere around there.
Yeah, let's see.
I'd be willing to bet
60.
Yeah, I think he's making 80 grand, 120 grand. He's got to win, though.
Let's see.
I would be willing to bet he's making anywhere between 50, 50, 60, 60, push 70, 70. You know, that weight class.
Oh, dude. I Googled it and it came back. I wrote, what does Charles Johnson make per fight? And Google said 350,000. Like, get the fuck. And that's Demetrius Johnson. So hold on. I was like, what is he complaining about?
I think he's making, I would imagine he's making somewhere between the 40, 40, 40,
no, dude,
43,
this is
46, 46, 40, 49, 49, somewhere in there in that 100 grand. So every time he wins, imagine he made 100 grand. Every time he loses, imagine he makes 50 grand.
Google AI, so take it for what it is. Google AI, it's giving us mixed results. In his May 2024 win against Jake Hadley, he received a base pay of $50,000. I assume he's on a 25-25 and AI just read that wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So then if that's a base pay, how many fights ago was that?
Hadley, I don't know, like a year ago.
How many fights did he have between then and now?
Yeah, I'll tell you. All right, Jake Hadley was May 2024, and he then beat Josh Van. He beat Sumanderji. He beat lost to Ramazan Temirov, and then beat Loner Kavanaugh. So 1, 2, 3 fights until the Loner Kavanaugh fight from then. So yeah, 50. I don't want to break down this guy's finances. That wasn't the point of this topic.
No, but my point is that you're said he's made 50-50, so he's probably 25-25.
Probably.
I go back to he's probably around 40-40. That was 4 fights ago. His contract's probably coming due or somewhere around there, or he just re-signed right before that. So if that being said, he's probably making around that 35 to 40,000 a fight, 40, I mean. So he's going to be making 80 grand. That means that you're this active. You're trying to get out of that shitty contract and trying to get into a new, bigger one. And with that performance you just had over Loner Kavanaugh, I'm sorry, but you were losing that fight, but you came on, brought it on, and started taking over in the second. Into the second, right, is when he clipped him and knocked him out?
Yeah, about halfway through the second, Loner was getting lazy on his exits, and Charles was like, bink.
But, I mean, there's so many ways that the UFC can look at that. I mean, Ilia Topuria was giving Loner Kavanaugh all this hype and praise about how good he is. Keep an eye out for him.
Was he really?
Yeah, Ilia was. And so look what happened. Then he looked fantastic, a fantastic fighter. I think he's got a bright future. I was telling John, I go, this kid is freaking good. Just got caught. He got caught literally getting a little lazy, trying to do too much in the first 2 rounds.
Slowed down a little. Sped up. Yeah.
You can't afford to slow down against guys like Charles Johnson. So I think in this world, he's making about what I was saying, 40 to 40, somewhere in there, 80 grand, 5 fights in the last year, 12 months, whatever it is. He's made about 500 grand, or he's made under, let's just say 380. 400. You can't live off $400,000 a year.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money. It's more than I make.
We know, Angelo. You're doing a podcast with Josh Thompson. We know. We understand. So, like, if you're not living off of that, you're in the negative.
This is a wild take, dude. I would have expected the retired fighter to have a completely different take. No, and you'd be screaming. Because you know what everybody else's take on this was? I get where you're coming from, for sure. Yeah. Everybody else's take was retweeting the tweet about, hey, it was Ariel, I believe, that said, we just interviewed his manager. He said this. And everybody else was like, the fighter pay. And you're the only person that was like, yes, fighter pay. Let's change that. But also, dude made money, like a lot of it. So where'd it go?
How many people, like, you don't make 380 a year?
I don't know many people who do.
That's from my point. Like, you're telling me you're in the negative. Like, what did you spend your money on? It's not like you have medical bills because the UFC pays for that. The UFC takes care of that.
I don't know if it's all right. Let's look
If
at.
you live in
let's-
Vegas, you get free fucking breakfast, I think, and dinner, or breakfast and lunch at the PI. So that, I know a ton of fighters are like, shit. I
He
don't
doesn't
pay
live
for
in
shit.
Vegas. He lives in Orlando.
Okay.
But
Well, maybe he needs to move to Vegas then. Maybe he needs to move to Vegas. You're struggling this much. Maybe something in Vegas is making you spend too much money. Get away from her. Okay, leave her alone.
So let me corral you. Let me corral you and bring you back. Do you think my point with like a salary and like just an expectation of a living wage, does that seem fair or no? Like, no, this is a different sport. It operates differently. It can't work that way. It's not possible.
Is he not making a living wage?
I'm not talking about him. I just mean in general, not him. I'm saying
I'm
just talking about a salary.
Oh, you're saying a salary on top of what
I'm
they
saying, yeah, it doesn't have to be on top, but maybe we adjust the numbers.
No.
I'm saying a base set. Welcome to the UFC. Here's your benefits package. Here's your insurance package. You get 1 year base salary. And then here's your pay structure for the actual fights themselves.
Only 1 year.
They'll guarantee you 1 year at a time because they can cut you if you suck. So at least you're guaranteed a year.
Okay. So let me ask you this: how many fights do I have on that contract?
3.
Okay.
3 fights.
What happens if I get hurt? And I can only fulfill 1.
That's why I'm saying
this is what I'm saying.
I didn't peg you for a company.
As a business, I cannot. It's not sustainable. Let's say I'm gonna pay you $50,000, but I've got 900 people on my roster. I'm paying $50,000 to each person for a year, and then if they only fight once, like what incentivizes me then to want to fight? More money, sure, but then
more money.
You're
the next contract.
Okay, but not a lot. A lot of fighters can see the writing on the wall. Shit, these guys are better than I thought. I'm not gonna be here long. Fuck, I'm injured.
I'm going to twist this on you. I'm going to twist this on you again. Let me twist it on you again.
I'm going to keep setting you straight. Get it?
I'm going to keep advocating for some sort of base salary. And I'm not saying, whatever. We'll figure that out. But you would agree, I've already decided you agree. You would agree that the more training a fighter can get in, the better they get as a fighter. Correct statement? It's a correct statement. That's a yes.
Not fully correct.
Get the fuck.
No.
The answer is yes. Then you would agree if you eat the right foods and have the right nutritionist and the right. Let me.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
We are in a courtroom and you have to wait. You would agree with that. You would also agree that having the right training partners and being in the right gym would make you a better fighter, correct? So we have both agreed, you said you agreed, we have both agreed that eating the right foods, having the right nutrition plan, training at the right gym, having the right training partners all make you a better fighter. We also both agree, I'm agreeing for you ahead of time, that the better the fighters are, the more entertaining the sport is and the better the product is as a whole. We agree on that. You and I are agreeing a shit ton right now. So I would argue if you give the fighters a base salary, enough money on a consistent every other Friday basis to hire the right nutrition coach, go to the right gyms and do those right things, you would ultimately have a better product. Because right now, sure, Josh Thompson, the pretty boy that did the reality shows, made some good money. But the regular uggos that signed their new UFC contracts, don't necessarily have the means to go fly out and train with Extreme Couture. And they're stuck in their bullshit shopping mall gym, not getting all of the best training and all the best things. So they're not going to be the best fighter that they could be. So I would argue a base salary improves the level of athlete, which then ultimately improves the product as a whole.
I'm
gonna pick this up and drop it. Hold on.
Oh, mic drop? Is that what you're calling a mic drop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
So this is not to get political at all.
Oh,
in the 80s, the government funded some of the biggest like housing areas to make sure that everyone had houses. They gave them apartments. They basically just moved them all in. Those now are some of the biggest ghettos in the United States. Throwing money at something doesn't make it better. 99% of the time, it makes it worse. No, stop.
This is a job.
No, I let you talk. This is courtroom. Let me talk.
You're right.
Okay. Training more You said it makes you better. I would agree if you're training the right way. Okay. But you know what else makes you better? When you fight. That's what makes you the best. Those fighters that are the most active are normally the best fighters. Charles Johnson has gotten so much better in his last 5 fights. It's a little bit of a roller coaster, but it's not as if they're putting him against cans. Donald Cerrone was always considered one of the best. He fought every other fucking week. That guy couldn't turn down a fight. Fought last week. Hey, you want to fight this week? Sure. Sign me up. Like, those are the guys that are continuously getting better. You cannot mimic fighter pace, like real fighter speed inside the gym. Doesn't matter who you train with. I train with the best guys in the world. Train with John Fitch, Koscheck, Swick, Daniel Cormier, Cain Velasquez. The list goes on, man. All the way through. I've got Islam, Habib. I mean, like, hey, Umar. I've trained with all of them.
How were you able to afford that?
Best. Doesn't mean that I was getting better, sure, but it does still never mimicked in cage live experience. So no, you don't always get better just by training. Never.
So here's an example of a human being. I get what you're saying.
I'm not done yet.
That's still going. Jesus.
In terms of food, look, food is one of those things. It's expensive. Doesn't matter how you cut it. To eat healthy is expensive. I understand that. Okay. But this is coming from a guy who literally, like, his first 2 UFC fights, I fought my UFC fights off Top Ramen. So figure that out. And I was making nothing. When I fought Yves Edwards, I was number 1. I was ranked number 1 in the world on the UFC rankings and a lot of other medias at the time, their rankings. I was ranked number 1 in the world. I was only making 8-8. So don't talk to me about how, like, oh, I should be able to make more money. I should do this. I should do that. No. I bit the bullet on all this fighter pay bullshit. Okay. I bit the bullet to help grow the sport as much as I can. And you guys can't live off of $380,000 a year. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. Now, am I in favor of fighters getting paid more? Absolutely. Absolutely. The UFC has given them health insurance. UFC also provides health insurance when you fight. That's full coverage. The UFC health, plus they've opened up the what is it? The PTI or PI, what is it? Well,
now you said a weird acronym. Yeah. So it's the PI. It's just the PI. It's just the PI.
Yeah, the PI. So there's food and stuff. That's why a lot of gyms have moved to Vegas. I think honestly, they should move another one to Florida. They should open up a PI in Florida. So at least all the fighters from American Top Team, Kill Cliff, and other gyms that can open up that are gym friendly, business friendly, low income, like also very affordable housing in those areas. Vegas used to be that. Vegas now is exploding. It's becoming a little less affordable. Okay. But then you have Florida, maybe even try to open one. Not a lot of MMA gyms in Texas, but I'm simply saying open areas where open gyms, open a PI probably where there's big gyms that are established right now. Florida is huge. Put a PI there. Let those fighters indulge in that moment as well to utilize that. Not everything has to be in Vegas. Now I know they like having it in Vegas because they have access to all the fighters. They can see which fighters are ready, which fighters are training, which fighters are doing well against some of the top fighters that are already signed by the UFC. And that's how they can compare them. Say, look, it's all accessible to me. I can see that, hey, number 2 guy in the world is getting beat up by this guy over here in this small organization on this, and this. We should probably grab him before somebody else does. All those things being said, you cannot tell me and I know times are different. How can you tell me that guys like Randy Couture was making $25,000 a fight and was making it work? Myself making 8-8, fight in the early UFC days. But dude, guys, we did it. You have to figure out everyone has gotten used to being spoiled. It's unfortunate. Once again, I say it. Yes, they deserve to get paid more. Yes, they do. There's no way around it. But no, an actual established base salary, basically, what is it? Universal income is what you're basically asking for? No.
It's a job. No. All right. Couple points. I get what you're saying. And the analogy you said, you can't just throw money at a problem to fix it. I agree, but the problem's fighter pay. So you literally can't throw money at the problem to fix it.
And fighters overspend all the time. Look, they throw millions and
everybody overspend. I get
NFL players and NBA players. They did the 30 for 30. What is it?
Yeah. Bro, it just was broke was the name of the episode.
Yeah, something broke. Yeah. And so I'm sorry, you can make millions and still end up broke.
100% agree.
I didn't make millions.
I got 2 points for you. And these are well thought out, like Angelo.
You just thought of them right now. No, they're not well thought.
No, I know these are well. You don't know how quickly I am on my feet. First of all,
I know you're
The whole
300 pounds. It's not very quick. Go right ahead.
265. The whole, and it was 260 like a couple months ago. Things are trending in the wrong direction. The
Friday
whole
Friday nights at Mexican food will do it.
that's what's happening. The whole I made this, I made that. That's boomer energy. Life was fucking cheap. Gas was 50 cents. Like that's out the window. What people made back then doesn't matter. That shit doesn't matter. So that argument's done. The argument I will make, the PI argument in Florida, that's solid. And you know who's doing that right now? Dan Lambert. The owner of American Top Team is basically, for certain fighters and certain coaches, he owns a hotel. They live in his hotel. Mm-hmm. He's subsidizing their lives. He owns multiple homes, and he'll recruit fighters and go live here, stay here when you're training. So he sees the vision of, if I eliminate these problems for them, if I make a world where they could just train and they don't need a second job to do this, they'll become better. And obviously, he is a private business. American Top Team is a private business. So he is investing in his product, which are the fighters, which are going to the UFC. All I'm doing is elevating that one notch. The UFC could invest in the product directly instead of the gyms. The other thing I'll make is this actually happened with Johnny Hendricks. You remember Johnny Hendricks, right? Former UFC welterweight watcher, now at like a Dallas cop or some random Texas suburb cop. Former UFC welterweight champion. His management deal, and this was not through the UFC, this is with his manager, they paid him like $100,000 a year salary, but they got 80% of the money he made in the UFC. He signed that deal before he was anybody, and their logic was, I'm going to give you a salary and everything you need to be the best fighter on planet Earth. If you don't become the best fighter, we just spent a bunch of money and we lost it, right? You're nothing. If you do become one of the best fighters, then obviously we invested in you and we'll get that money back. So that's an extreme example, because if it wasn't 80%, it was like 70. It was something insane. But it was like they invested in him early when he was nobody and nothing. So it was still the idea of, if I give you a living wage, you don't have to do these other things, so you can focus on being the best possible fighter on planet Earth.
Yeah, $100,000 wouldn't be enough for me to sign my likeness into my 80% of my contracts away. That's when believing in yourself is more important.
Sure.
And the other thing is that you see that going on right now. So people are trying to, I know the NIL deals, you're allowed to get an NIL deal your senior year in high school. But before the NIL deals came in, people were literally buying the rights to athletes and saying, hey, I will fund you all the way through high school, through college. And if you sign to the NFL, I basically get your contract. You get nothing. Or, I give you a small percentage of it because I'm trying to recoup my money. I'm sorry, but no, believe in yourself. Those are people that believe they'll never get there without someone else. No, you have to believe in yourself. I'm not saying that that's what Johnny's mentality was. I understand. Like, it's hard to say no to the money when it's thrown up front. Like, no, I'll take it right now. And that's the difficult thing to deal with. But you have to believe that you have it in you to become a champion. Johnny had some uphill battles because he went from 85 down to 70 and then back up to 85. He was one of those guys that struggled to make the weight. He was one of those guys that he was only like 5'7", 5'8", but fucking built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he struggled to make the weight. He was very talented, but probably thought to himself, man, I don't know if at 85 I can do it. 70 though, you could. He had to make those drastic changes to make it happen. Bottom line is, fighter pay should be changed. I 100% agree. Should it be, I think it should be more 70-30 or 80-20. I also think they should offer every fighter a bonus for finishing. Don't just, Dana came out and was like, we're making $7.7 billion. Fighter bonus is going to go up. Yeah, fucking 50. Who cares? Even if it went 200,000, it's only given to 3 people. And you pick those people. It's like, if there was like a thing you could vote, like fan voting or something, then I would
American Idol style.
Right, cool. I'd be all right, cool. This fight was the better fight. But how many times have I seen a fight on the main card that shouldn't have got the bonus, but they did because they were the bigger name? And you want to keep those guys happy. Whereas the fighter on the bottom, they're the ones needing the money the most that should have got the bonus. So there's a lot of things that I could pick apart about it all. The answer is not simple at all whatsoever. It's not simple, but there is ways to fix it. The 70-30, 80-20 bonuses for finishing across the board to every fighter you finish, and it works out for the UFC. You know, if I guarantee everyone, it doesn't have to be $50,000. I'll give you an extra 25 grand if you finish, or I'll give you an extra 50 if you finish. Why don't you make $50,000 bonuses for everyone then that finishes, and then if you have, then you pick another 50 grand or 100 grand for the actual bonuses that you pick out.
The performance. Yeah, sure.
Give that performance bonus. Make them feel special about that. That will incentivize them a lot more. A lot more. The other thing, the last thing I'm going to say is fighters are incentivized by the amount of publicity they get and recognition they get from their promotion and the fans. That fan love and the promotion love incentivized me probably the most. When I heard Dana say or Coker say or someone say something great about like something about me in the news, like, man, Josh had a great performance, you know, that made you feel really good. Like, shit, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. Fucking A, I'm in the good graces of the promoter, right? Of the boss. Okay, cool. Now when you have fans like just lighting you up, feeding fuel to you, like, man, and they're telling you, man, you were great. It was love watching you fight. Even when I lost, they were the ones that picked me back up. It felt great to hear them go, man, that was a fucking nasty fight. I know you came up short, but fucking what a great fight. Love hearing that because you know you still got it. Love hearing it that you're not getting bagged on because you fucking laid down for somebody. All of those reasons, now I want to be compensated like that. I want to be compensated like I was the guy that didn't fucking just roll over and give my back. You know, I mean, look, let's be honest. In the Tony Ferguson fight, I got my ass kicked fucking brutally in the second round. But you know how many how many fighters I've trained with and how many fighters I know personally and have had conversations with them about it. Why is it every time it going gets tough, you just turn over and give your back and get choked? Like, people just give their neck.
Oh yeah.
Because I just get choked, I can just tap. Like, I'm not going to sleep. I'll just tap, you know, and it's like I already know. It's not a real bitch way to go out. Like, you don't want to get knocked out, you don't want to damage your brain anymore. So go ahead, let me just roll over, give you my back, and then let them finish. It's like that was never me. My shit was gonna die out there. At some point, I was gonna die out there. So that needs to be appreciated by the promoter as well, not just rolling over and giving up. So those are all things I feel like promotions should take a closer look at.
Sure, it is an interesting debate, and I'm sure this will be fired up next year once the Paramount deal kicks in. But let us know what you think can be done for fighter pay. Is it literally just pay them more money, or is it change the structure fundamentally of how it all works now? My name is Angelo. This is Josh Thompson. That was another Bad Takes.